said gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men account for the majority of new HIV diagnoses. But there's one group that's changing that, or trying to. The Black Church. Churches across the globe are launching HIV ministries to address the undeniable prevalence of this disease in Black culture. But how? How can the Black Church successfully mount a response to HIV when it's got a storied relationship with queer people?
God decided male and female.
And with gender.
If God say you're a man, you're a man.
That's right.
And with sex.
I said I like women.
So tonight, I'm talking to faith leaders in a special World AIDS Day episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast to see if HIV is the problem. How can the Black Church effectively be a part of the solution? We've got a studio full as we celebrate. This is World AIDS Day Explained. What up, though? It's Sunday night, so welcome to a very special episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. A little while ago, one of my team members reminded me that Dear Black Gay Men, that is being black, being gay, and being men, are inherently political acts every day, but especially for the next 4 years. And it's our duty in reminding us how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men, to speak to our whole experience at the intersection of all of our identities. So tonight, we've brought together some of our most profound guests to have a conversation I'm hoping you'll watch from beginning to end and share it in the group chat, because I know y'all got group chats, as we figure out how do we forge a path forward for all of us. Tonight, my first guest is a prominent faith leader focused on affirming ministries in the Black church. That's you. The second is the chief operating officer of an internationally known HIV service provider focused on the health and vitality of black people. And the third is a minister and health navigator that blends the work of both of those institutions together. Please welcome Marika Chisholm, Dr. Wayne Woodson, and Antoine Williams-Rowans. Hey, y'all!
Hi!
What's going
I
on,
feel like I
y'all?
should put some applause right there.
Yeah, give me some.
I think so too.
Thank you.
Y'all
Praise
applause.
me.
It's a modest applause.
Praise me, baby. Hallelujah.
So, Marika, I said that you are the first cis woman to ever be on here in the back room. Have you been into a back room before?
No, I haven't.
Well, welcome to the back room.
Not quite sure what
I
that
can't
means.
say the same.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to many back rooms.
I'm just
Here
there
we go.
with fire and oil to come.
Buckle up, buttercup. So, Antoine, you were here on Friday for a special episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. The people say that you have given them hope that love is still out there. How does that feel?
Oh, that feels amazing because
For everybody who doesn't know, Antoine was here with his husband. Whoop, whoop. Husband. The Williams-Rowans household was on the show.
Period.
the Will Rose.
The Will Rose.
Absolutely.
Got it. How does it feel that people saying you give hope?
Is there. Like I think we started the segment last week speaking about what we did not like about the gay culture.
Yes.
And it speaks directly to love is for everyone. So I'm glad that people are saying that there's love somewhere in the air for them.
Love is for everyone. What about you, Doc? Is love for everyone?
I think so. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
You're usually the cynic.
He's
why I said I don't
very
see why it
cynical.
wouldn't be.
You're usually the
He's
cynic.
very
Not
cynical.
cynical, just counter to everyone else's opinion.
Why? But why be counter? Why not just
AKA cynical.
Someone has to stir the
Why not
pot.
just love?
Because professionally, I'm a disruptor. That's what I do. I disrupt.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, girl.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Are
girl.
y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for the show?
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's do it.
I'm
Y'all
nervous.
All right, let's get into the episode.
Let's do it.
Okay, the Black church has been the bedrock of progress for Black people for generations, but LGBTQIA plus issues remain a sore spot. Check this out.
God is clear. God is speaking. So maybe we don't agree with this, but it says he made man in his own image and he pulled a woman out, right? So when that man, I just want to see your thoughts on this. When that man and that woman come together, they become one flesh. We see it, the laws of nature. You don't even have to look at the Bible. You can see when a man and a woman comes together, it's natural. We're living in a modern day age where we got all these toys and things like that. If you want to go back to the biblical text, like naturally, there's no way other than using your hands and stuff, right, to do what a man and a woman can do.
That was Pastor Will Horn debating Marcus Rogers. Marcus Rogers was the one talking on the Hardly Initiated podcast. While I acknowledge this was not a church, nor is this podcast directly affiliated with any faith institution, I do think he is saying the quiet parts out loud. The first question, Marika, why are church folks so concerned with what we do in the bedroom?
I think people need a villain.
Okay.
Like the entire Christian faith is based in having a villain.
So why do we have to be the
The
villain?
enemy, the devil, your haters, those that don't like you. You have to have a villain. So I'm not saying that it's right, but the question was, why do we have one? This is why. We have to have something that we don't like so that we don't look in the mirror.
That's good.
Because if I can look at you and your outward sin and dog you out and talk about you and belittle you and as the Instagram satirize your name and make you, if I can do all of
That
those,
was a little worldly for you, Marika. That was just a little worldly.
destroy you. If I can destroy you, that means I don't have to work on me. So I need something to look at, to vilify, to demonize, to make small, so that I can look bigger. That yes, I drink, I beat my wife, I cheat on, I got 3 wives and 7 kids. But you sleep with boys, so yours is great.
Yes, I do.
Oh God, nigga.
And I enjoy it. I can say no business for that one.
Oh geez.
So Doc, because I think that was very poignant that we need a villain. Black church is just like a lot of institutions. They need a villain. They need something to other. But this is World AIDS Day, so how can the black church successfully combat HIV if they're so busy making us villains?
Well, I don't think the villainizing is why we can't address HIV. I think the fact that we perpetuate monogamy and abstinence is the reason we can't effectively address HIV, because you would have to say that people are having sex to do that.
Yeah.
Imagine
But
that.
no one's having sex outside of marriage.
I am.
Most people are. But I think it does go to what Marika's saying, like almost everything in the Christian faith is built on being bad or good, right? Sex is bad unless
Not mine.
you are cisgender. Well, that's what the walls say too.
This is the back room.
But I just think that there are things that we have to come to terms with in order to address HIV. One, it's not an LGBTQ disease. That's the first issue. I mean, and you can get it and live. But I think that there are a lot of systemic issues in the black church that will not let us address it. One of which is we do not discuss sex in any way. My team has gone to churches and they've been asked to do the testing outside, or to not come in with the education, or to not mention sex, but ask people to get HIV and STI testing.
But how do you do that though? How do I deal with the egg and not talk about the chicken?
I think you have to do what you do because it's about the people and not about the church. If that's what we need to do to reach the people, then we do it. Hopefully within that, something we've said or done begins to shift those paradigms. For instance, there was a church here that had our prevention manager come do a whole Bible study session that was talking about like sex in the church and HIV. And we were like, you're a mainstream church. This is like revolutionary.
Yes.
But sometimes it's the small battles. It's the fact
Absolutely.
that an LGBTQ organization has even been asked to come to all these straight churches. That's battle one.
Is there such thing as a straight church?
Not if it's good.
Child.
I'm directing that to Antoine Williams Rowans.
No. Absolutely not.
Like what? Okay, so when you say straight church, when Doc says straight church, what does that mean?
I believe that those are churches where you cannot.
Is
be
this your
free.
minister voice? Is that your minister voice?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
feel
don't he
you're giving
sound
very
deep and
ministerial.
smoky?
My
I'm
God.
Right.
No.
Back
Girl
on the
6.
chat line back in '97. I don't know anything about that.
I know a lot about the damn chat line.
Sound like
I don't
girl
mind.
6.
I will neither
Some of the
confirm
best
or
times of my
deny.
life what happened on that damn chat
I will
line.
neither confirm or deny.
Oh yeah. When you couldn't even get a face picture if you tried back then.
Didn't need one.
You was really moving by face and not by sight then. That's it. So straight churches.
Yeah, no straight churches. Well, you know what? I'll say this. There may be a church somewhere that have no gay people in there. You know, maybe there's a church of 4 or
don't have a
5
good music
people.
department if they do.
They may have 4 or 5 people in there, but there may be a church that are just heterosexuals. But what I will say, a lot of our main churches have gay individuals that are a part of their departments. They are leading their departments.
You talking about the choir?
The choir,
The
media
choir, the
team,
adjutants, all of that. I mean,
But
the
you
media
can't be
team in my
free.
church is pretty gay.
Yeah, but we're
Yeah,
free at
sure
our
are.
church, right? That's the difference. Pretty free.
We're pretty free.
My
Got it.
entire media team.
Wow, the gays do
I
it best.
mean, the media team. It's not the entire media
No, not
team
the
in my
entire.
church. There's a couple not straight people, not gay people in there.
Yeah.
That grumbles in the room. Got it. It's all. It's
I'm
all.
trying to figure out who it
free.
is.
Me too. I'm saying carry the one. No, I don't. Okay, continue.
I'll send you a link.
Okay, thanks.
So Antoine, though, how do straight churches? It's just making me chuckle. But how do churches minister to people they can't accept?
Ooh, that's a good question. I believe that they attempt to minister. It's really hard to do. I learned going to the institution that I'm a part of now that I thought that I was at a church that was for me, that like I was actually gaining knowledge from God and who God was to me and for me. But authentically, I was not. And so I believe that there are people who are not being able to see God's face at face value for them based off of their church, if you will.
But do you think people even have an awareness that freedom is possible?
Absolutely. I believe some people think so, but you'll be surprised at how many people are against going to an affirming church and they're gay.
Why you think that is, Marika?
Oh, you have to unlearn. You've been told you're bad for so long. So if I tell you, you look horrible in tan.
Fuck you.
Well, thanks.
I can say that in the back room.
But you get what I'm saying? If I tell you from 2000 to 2024, you look horrible. You look bad. Those shoes are ugly. The hat is disgusting. If I tell you that for so long, you coming to somewhere else that tells you look great. Your muscles are showing. It does great with your skin tone. It is hard for you to accept that because you've been told you've been bad for so long. Mm-hmm. So you have to unlearn and relearn.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've also normalized abuse and dysfunction in
Absolutely.
the church. Like, people enjoy being abused. They
Yeah.
enjoy sitting in churches where they're told they're going to hell every week. They enjoy being bashed with the Bible.
It's like
which-
sadomasochism.
Yeah.
It's like
religious sadomasochism.
Like people like getting pain inflicted on them.
Yeah.
Black
And
folks
after-
in
Been
doing
the
it for
BDSM
so
community.
And after a
long.
while, you don't even realize there's a problem with it
Yeah.
until
The
somebody else
BDSM
comes
Church
in.
of God in Christ.
You know
Okay,
what?
well, I won't
Come back.
reference a specific
Jay.
denomination.
Right.
I just love
Jay, come
all
on
the
back.
grumbles that be in the room.
Come on back.
Wow.
Jay.
Did I go too
Because
far?
always go
I
too
was
far.
Kojic, and there were a lot of good things that came out of that. I was a rebel, but there were a lot of good things that came out of that denomination.
Okay, I hear that. All right, Lavelle
Look, you
Dante.
done pushed on
Lavelle Dante
mean?
stopped by the back room just ahead of his comedy show at the Laugh Factory when he said this. Check this out.
Who am I to be blessed with a platform and not use it correctly? I don't know. That's just me. Like, some people, they do. You can do whatever you want to do on your platform, but me, I know I'm meant to be spread joy, spread positivity. I don't even talk about drama for real. There's not a lot of videos of me saying, "Did you hear about such and such and such and such?" Because I like to be on a whole nother page because there's so much of that already going on.
Yes.
And I'm like, let me just be somebody funny here because I am. But I'm getting the tea.
Yes,
I'm seeing what's happening, but it's like I don't have to say the same thing too. So let me like be a light with all of this darkness that's going on.
You can catch the whole interview on our Patreon. Subscribing is one of the easiest ways to support what we do on Dear Black Gay Men. You'll get exclusive content that you won't see anywhere else. To become a patron, visit patreon.com/Dear Black Gay Men. The link is in the description. During the break, let me know in the comments, what is a positive message you'd like to hear more of in the Black church? When we come back, the conversation continues. This is World AIDS Day Show 2024, and we will be right back.
On commercial break.
I got
Get in the conversation.
this comment says, I did a good job. It's time for a congratulatory ejaculation session.
Chat live on the show and get exclusive
The
content.
bottoms are going to eat me up for this in the chat.
Join the Dear Black Gay Men Insiders group on Facebook.
Okay, Aaron, do you think HIV is still a big deal?
I do. When I look at the numbers and things like that, I have to like burst myself out of my own bubble because for me, it's not a big deal. I go to the doctor, I get my 2 shots or my shots every 2 months, and like HIV is a non-factor for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realize all of the privileges in my life that allow me to do that.
What about you, Verity? Is HIV a big deal? Because you are an ally.
I am an ally. And so I feel like on a day-to-day, it's honestly not something that's top of mind. But being a part of the podcast, and I didn't realize just how prevalent it still was.
That's why this episode is brought to you in part by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. HIV has been a huge part of my life as a gay man, and the HIV Vaccine Trials Network is working to minimize that because ending HIV is about all of us.
For me, as an ally, I wasn't truly aware of the impact HIV has on our lived experiences until we started working with the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. Now that I know about this network, I feel like there's a real way for me to get involved in the fight against HIV. I've been able to get educational resources on HIV, stay up to date on HIV research, and enroll in studies to help end HIV.
If you would like more information or get involved in an HIV vaccine trial, whether you're living with HIV or not, visit helpendhiv.org. That's helpendhiv.org. The link is in the description.
What up, though? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hookup, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating.
A top verb, but I am not a top noun. I am a guru at first dates.
It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now.
We're live from the back room right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Before the break, I asked you what is a positive message you'd like to hear more of in the Black church. What would you like to hear more in the Black church, Marika? It does feel weird calling Marika.
It does feel weird you even calling me Marika, but we're gonna
I'll
go
call you
with it.
Riri.
We're not gonna do that.
Keisha.
We're not gonna go there either.
Okay.
I mean, I'm down the street from my grandma's house. What's up, Decatur?
What's a positive message you'd like to hear more of?
John 3:16.
For God's sake, we sang that today.
Yeah,
in
like for real.
in an
That
undisclosed location.
whosoever wants to come is welcome. And it is not based on my thoughts, my preferences, my wishes, my hopes. That is what I would hope, I would wish, I would dream that the church would do more of. That understanding that like knocking people across the head don't work no more.
You said it right, whipping folk. Whipping folk.
Okay, let's go with it. Flogging them, whipping them, any of the things. Since you guys
heard
love
that.
those terms.
I didn't say that.
Since you like that
We
term.
do like those terms. I do. I don't mind getting a little flog. See, and this is why this conversation has to happen in the back room.
Yeah, and-
could you imagine me talking about flogging at a church?
Oh, gosh, no.
You know I would, but could you imagine?
Yes, you would.
That's the
I
problem.
would. Okay, on tonight's special episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast, we're observing World AIDS Day as we strategize the way forward with some of the dopest people in the Black church. But before we go deeper in the conversation, I want to ask the audience, would you feel comfortable talking about sex with your pastor or minister?
They feel comfortable talking to me.
There's some yeses. You say yes. Yes.
All right, we'll take it.
You say no.
This side of the room is yes. That side is no.
Y'all say some say no.
Okay,
Why? You would
yes.
feel comfortable
What'd you say?
talking to your pastor about sex, about your sex life.
Maybe. That's fair though.
What happened?
It
What did he
depends on
say?
the pastor.
It depends on the pastor.
Okay. I mean, I can't tell you who my pastor is for reasons that I can't discuss, but
So you mean like if it's a woman or a man, or just your
person
relationship with the? Got it. Okay.
depending on the relationship, who said yes? Kara, you said yes. Unequivocally, you say yes as well. Unequivocally, you have no problem. Really? Huh. That's so interesting.
This is the
I could not.
You talking about it with me?
This is the free
You're Dr. Wayne Woodson, COO of NASUM. So of course I would talk to you, Dr. Wayne Woodson, COO of NASUM, about sex, because you're Dr. Wayne Woodson.
When you say sex, can you be a bit more specific?
Dick and ass.
Get me out of here!
One of those would be mine. See?
You asked.
See?
What I meant was,
As a faith leader. So what if somebody came up to you and talked about sex? How comfortable would you be?
Y'all taking it too fast.
I mean, I almost said something, but
Like,
it'll
how
be-
comfortable would
that'll
you
be-
be if
that'll be the
one of the lay
viral
people
moment.
came up to you and was like, hey, pastor, hey, Marika, you are the person that I trust to have this conversation. Let me tell you about this thing that I got.
what the reason why I ask is because, believe it or not, the people that I am fortunate enough to lead give me a lot of information that I don't ask for.
No, I can't say that. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of information.
I'm really
So,
tiptoeing right here.
I
Can
know,
you tell?
we-
Can you
You
tell?
are.
I'm really walking a fine
Baby,
line.
we crip walk around here.
I'm really trying. I can't say
Yeah,
that.
we doing it
the fact that I
good.
can't say what I'm trying to
So
say.
it again for me? It's like, why do you want to talk to me about the two words that you used earlier? Why would you want to talk to me about that?
Because you are the person that I trust the most.
Maybe you're a safe space.
You are the
To
safe
talk
space.
about that?
Isn't that the whole purpose of being a faith leader?
Hold
to be
on
the
now.
safe space for your
Yeah,
people?
but why you want to talk to me about your sexual?
you personalize it.
I'm just saying.
Because you're the safe space. It's just like I could tell you, I could
don't know
confess
if
my sins to you of on any other level. So why wouldn't I be able to talk about my
Are you
sex
telling
life?
me like it was good, or are you saying like
I mean,
was
in a faith
assaulted?
setting,
You know
I
what
would
I'm
be
saying? Like,
in my head, I'm like, this is what I like. I need to know if this is biblical.
now you know good and well, hell, it is not biblical. You got to ask me that.
I mean, there is a lot of worship that happens in my bedroom.
Okay, all right.
I'll take
Get
somebody
me outta
behind the
here.
veil
Somebody
real
call-
quick.
Nobody.
Where it's just me and God. Strong tower in the darkest hour.
Nobody wants to come. Get
Okay,
me.
now Antoine, you are a minister. Different than being a pastor or leading a ministry. You are still somebody who people confide in. And so isn't that the role? Isn't that one of the roles of being a minister is being the person that people can confide in? Even about sex?
Well, I believe so. I don't think that
You and that damn ministerial voice.
I don't think I don't think that every minister probably can have that conversation. But I do think that it is a responsibility for ministers to be able to communicate with members of their church or members or people even on the street to evangelize and bring people in. So yes.
Okay, and so again, for you, Doc, we're trying to bridge faith and HIV, and the middle part of that is sex. Most people who contract HIV, who learn their status, did so by way of having sex with somebody, right? And so wouldn't that have to be, if a church is going to start an HIV ministry, or if the black church wants to actually be effective in the fight against HIV, don't we have to deal with sex at some point?
Well, yeah, you're going to have to. They're called sexually transmitted infections for a reason. I think, but the issue is by opening up that can of worms, we're also opening up other conversations that churches don't want to have.
Like what?
If we say we're going to have conversations about sex, then we're going to actually have to start having conversations about adultery and abuse of the Bible. And so Christianity functions the way it was supposed to. Christianity was developed to control people. That is why there's the Bible. That is why churches have specific doctrines, right? And so you have to keep people under a leash to keep them submitted.
Absolutely.
And once you start opening cans of worms and people realize they can think for themselves and interpret for themselves, then who's going to pay the bills? Because they're not going to be at those churches.
Because a lot of times you ask them, why do you believe this? They have no reason.
No.
Who is the you that you're talking about? Why do you believe this? Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about a regular lay member. I'm talking about, hell, even some of these pastors.
Yeah.
If you ask them, Pastor such and such, why being gay is wrong? Sodom and Gomorrah.
Which had nothing to do with that.
It had nothing to do
because this is what I tell people. I tell people I definitely do not lay with mankind as I do with womankind. What I do is very different.
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about Leviticus, we can't eat shellfish. We can't wear mixed fabric.
I mean, agree.
Like blah,
For real.
blah,
You know what I'm saying? So I asked my grandma one time, and that is when she started. My grandmother has 73 degrees, okay? From
73?
She literally has like 8, for real.
Okay.
And she got them from Bible college, seminary, all the things. So she never wore pants. So I'm
she holiness.
No, we were Baptists. We were missionary.
She was wearing long jean skirts.
Very long. Yes, going to the beach with a long jean skirt on.
No ankles, nowhere.
Nothing.
Not one in sight.
0.
No skin.
None. She don't even have her ears pierced. Okay?
And you got 3-4 holes in your.
Wait
you
a
going
minute.
straight to hell, ain't it?
Don't you call me out.
He turned that around on you.
You see me? Don't you call me out. Baby, she saw my first tattoo and sent me straight to hell. But I said, Grandma, why you don't wear pants? And you know what she said? Because Bishop said we could. I'm sorry?
Because Bishop said.
Because Bishop said.
Because Bishop said.
That's what you got?
Bishop
you have
said,
no
and he
frame
said
of
wear pantyhose.
Yeah.
Even though he ain't never put on no pantyhose.
And they couldn't watch movies. And they couldn't play Monopoly.
Music.
And they could, because that's, betting. She couldn't play like, they have no biblical reference for any of this stuff. It's just, well, my pastor told me.
Okay, but now if I play devil's advocate, there are a lot of churches that would look to some of the institutions that we are a part of, saying that what we have or what we do doesn't have biblical reference. What do you say to that, Antoine?
They may want to read again. And also it goes back to unlearning what you think that you know or what you've perceived through your life. So I would definitely say to go back and do some research for yourself.
But okay. So we
and
started.
And when I say research, like learn God for yourself, like figure it out because His love is for you. Like it's its own thing. Figuring it out is going to be the most important piece of that.
Put that comment back up there. It says Carlter. The problem is people come to church in bondage and never get free.
You have to intentionally want to be free from something.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally. Like if I have told you for years that your being is wrong, you know how long that's gonna take you to reframe your thinking and to reframe your mind?
Yeah.
So I have to intentionally, when he says they go to church bound and leave bound, no, I'm making a decision today. I said it today, actually. I didn't come for none of y'all. I am here today because I need God to hear me. And that's it, and that's all. Now, what y'all do is on y'all. You know what I mean? So I think you have to be intentional with your pursuit of freedom. You have to be intentional with your pursuit of God and your relationship with Him. He hasn't moved. We move further away. So you have to be intentional with your chase after Him.
I have a whole bunch of follow questions that have nothing to do with this topic.
Okay,
so
great.
I'm not gonna rabbit hole there.
Okay, thanks.
But to shift gears, it does seem like the faith community has a lot to deal with before meaningfully addressing HIV. Where do you think, Antoine, the work starts?
It starts with us, with conversations like this. I believe creating safe spaces for people to
In a room full of people, in a studio audience.
In a studio audience. Yeah, but having these kind of conversations and creating safe spaces, I believe, will get us to where we need to go. At least
there's nothing on that.
There's nothing on it. Okay.
You know,
they put messages on the whiteboard when they want me to move on and like hurry up, and so there was nothing on the whiteboard. So I was like, "What are you trying to say?"
I think I would agree with you that people move on. Okay, let me shut up.
It normally is cussing, but y'all are people of the cloth, so
thank you.
They ain't gonna cuss on the
For not
whiteboard.
cussing. I think, we all have different platforms, right? So people that would have never even thought about having this conversation, that are my followers, who have never heard of DBGM, amen.
You can say that
name. that have never heard of it, that are now like, that are same gender loving, who aren't as out or as open.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that are not out that watch and listen and tune into Dear Black Gay Men. But I think the unique position that I sit in is I don't mind saying the quiet parts out loud. And so when I talk about sex, because I talk about my sex life all the time, people have no problem engaging with me because I'm like, well, I done did the freakiest shit I know. So, you talking about how you was actually in a back room doesn't faze me. But I do think that is the difference between here, for instance, and a faith space, is because a lot of times we walk into those spaces intrinsically feeling judged.
Absolutely.
And so I can't be myself in those spaces because I know you gonna judge me and attack me for one reason or another, and you got the Bible to stand on.
And the lack of vulnerability. You have to be vulnerable coming into a space like that.
Yeah.
And that lack of feeling like you can be vulnerable, I can't speak for anybody else, I'll speak for me. There have been multiple times where I have been taught to be poised. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I've been taught since I was little. Mm-hmm. You're going to be something when you're older, so you're not going to cry and fall out. You're not doing none of that. So when you come into a space where it's vulnerability on display, it becomes more difficult because I'm taught to be poised. I'm not going to cry, but I need to. Mm-hmm. I need to fall out because I'm going through. You know what I mean? So you have to get to that comfortable place so that you can be vulnerable, so that you can not be leave in bondage, like our dear brother said.
No, Dwayne Crawford said, meanwhile, no one has room to talk. We all have done damnable things. We all know who that is, and we can hear him saying damnable.
Yes, made that up.
Like, we all was like, girl.
That was good, D. That was good.
I mean, that was good.
Y'all gonna leave my Dwayne alone now.
Damnable. Like, that's what you're giving on this Sunday night? Damnable?
Yes,
damnable. He need a little wine wherever he is.
Oh,
but go ahead. Okay, I think I'm supposed to move on right now, right? Oh. Up next, the conversation continues after the break. We'll be right back. I feel like y'all should applaud right there.
Woo! Yippee! No.
This your first time doing this?
With an audience?
Yeah. You have a few little snags. We got rap.
What up, though? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hookup, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating.
A top verb, but I am not a top noun. I am a guru at first dates.
It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now.
Every conference I go to, I get noticed because of the bag.
No, for real. So like they was asking me, I got noticed. Somebody pulled me aside. They were like, "Oh my God, I really love your bag." And they came up to start talking to me about how they can get connected with Dear Black Gay Men.
I mean, it's a great marketing tool. It's a great marketing tool, and it goes with most of our merch.
And then, child, I was at an undisclosed facility because they ain't a sponsor. I
thought it was because you was at a sex party.
No.
Okay. That's why this
room,
episode
maybe.
Not a back room.
That's why this episode of Dear Black Gay Men Podcast is brought to you in part by MIH bags. Everywhere I go, I get noticed. DBGM hoodie and my MIH. All I want is everything bag. Hold it up, Verity. That is actually my bag. I love it. It's the perfect bag to throw everything in when I'm rushing to the studio, or an overnight bag when I'm doing whatever I would be doing overnight.
You almost made me cry when you gifted me my All I Want Is Everything.
The All I Want Is Everything duffel.
Duffel bag for my birthday, and I get stopped every time I wear it. It's the perfect everyday bag or work bag or even a bag report when I'm going on a nice trip.
That's not what the script says.
I don't care. You know I ain't been to the gym.
You can shop MIH Bags' full collection of accessories and apparel at mihbags.com. They're a Black queer-owned business that carries T-shirts and duffels and toiletry bags and so much more for all your accessory needs. Use code DBGM15 to take 15% off at checkout. That's mihbags.com. The link is in the description. We're live from the back. We're live from the back room right here at Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I want to thank everyone for supporting us with merch, but I want to let y'all know something. Some of the DBGN fam have been experiencing delays in getting their orders fulfilled. Emails have gone out notifying the affected orders, and I want to thank everyone for their patience. This season, the true tea is we got a little big, a little faster than we anticipated. These are all good problems, but I don't want the fam to be left in a lurch while we are figuring things out. For everyone that has purchased merch, thank you for rocking with us, and thank you so much for your patience. For those joining the family, you can shop dearblackgaymen.shop, or as Marika is shouting, she's shouting over our store, Dear Black Gay Men Shop, or look for links under this video on YouTube. Thank you all for rocking with us. Now,
y'all don't want to praise God. Y'all better thank God for real. Come on. Y'all don't want to praise him. That ain't no little thing.
Thank you.
No, for real. Because we like to minimize our success. Stop doing that. I'm trying not to.
There she go.
Right,
she
man.
gonna prophesy over your life. Here we go.
I'm trying not to prophesy, but don't do that. Don't diminish the dream that you've been praying for.
I have been praying for it.
Right. And when God gives it to you, how dare you say, "Oh, no, you not my little nothing."
Okay,
I'm sorry. I'm back.
I was about.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, I'm back.
The deepest part of me is just like, this is my show, girl. But I always got a soft spot for you. I can't talk about why I have a soft spot for you, but I always got a soft spot for you. The whole show, we've been calling out the faith community and how it treats queer people. Do you think we fully accept ourselves, Doc?
Of course not.
Why?
Look at how many people attempt to not be who they authentically are so other people are comfortable. When I stopped caring what the hell people thought years ago, my life got much better. I just had this conversation with
But you like 17
Travis.
feet tall. It's easy for you to be like, fuck these
Well,
motherfuckers.
no. There are people much bigger than me, width and height.
It was this right here.
Wilson,
It was this right here.
Get out, Wilson.
But you know, people who are used to abusing folks, it don't matter what size they are.
Okay.
But I think a lot of that is, it is hard for people to accept the hard parts of themselves. Mm-hmm. Like you have to really, like Marika was saying earlier, you have to do like internal work. Mm-hmm. And it's not gonna be until you're happy with yourself that what other people say doesn't matter.
So Okay, I hear that. I really do, because a part of this conversation is rooted in this idea that the black church ain't coming to save us. There are so many other issues that we got to be really intentional on finding spaces that are built for you. But the question becomes, are we here to save ourselves, Antoine? Like, do we have the capacity to advocate for ourselves when it comes to how we interact with faith communities?
I believe so. I think that a lot of times the power that a pastor or a reverend or a priest they have, right? So it seems as if sometimes we learn of a title and we don't speak up on how we feel about whatever the situation is. And I think that is sometimes diminishing what we can actually do or speak about to actually go to the next level, if that makes sense. So basically, to wrap that up, we got pastors and stuff that we literally can talk to and say, hey, I really didn't enjoy that. That offended me. And I know that you didn't mean it, but maybe next time can you express it in a different way? Because if I was offended, who knows how many of your other members are offended? And I believe that there's a growth pattern that has never maybe started in order for the church and the leaders of a church to actually be able to help the people that they have in their ministries, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely hear that, but I do think that the black church is just set up to where there's a lopsided power dynamic. The pulpit is where you don't question the man of God. I've heard that many times.
Sure,
man or woman of God, and so with that power though comes a whole bunch of fucked up shit.
I want to also add an addendum to what you just said.
Yes.
We keep talking about the black church. What you're more specifically talking about is more black Pentecostal church. Because the whole black church don't act like this.
Okay.
Pentecostals are the ones who act up. My friends that are Lutheran
or Methodist,
they don't have these issues.
And see, as a layperson, I don't have a frame of reference to make such a distinction.
Sure.
Like, I think church is church.
It's not.
And I wouldn't say
It's
like
not.
I do attend a Pentecostal church, but I could not tell you one reason why it's Pentecostal.
But the
aside from
power
that's the name of the door.
dynamic is not just the church. Black culture functions from a power dynamic if there's one person in charge.
Yep.
And everybody else is subordinate.
And it goes
And I
back to
always
But you're a
remind the people.
COO.
and that goes back to
But I have a
slavery.
boss.
With,
Absolutely.
again, you're
And my
wrong.
boss has a boss.
Right. It goes back to slavery where the white man would put one black person over
The black people
other.
to keep them in line.
Yeah, to keep them in line. So it all just continues to track back to that. Again, it is more specifically, I know you as a regular person don't know the difference.
I don't know if I like the tone behind that regular.
Because I don't like the tone of your I'm a regular layperson.
I mean, I am a layperson now. I ain't no minister.
Okay.
All right.
So, right. Ooh,
Girl.
it's so semantics. So
But be
I knew y'all would
ministering
say
behind
that.
them cameras.
right.
I knew y'all would say that.
But it is the same of Pentecostal churches. I have now they churches dry as baby butt powder, but
It's dry
they're
as
welcome.
what now? Say that again.
Johnson Johnson.
It's dry. Okay, got it.
It is dry as Johnson Johnson, but you know what? They're loved, they're accepted, and I couldn't go there because they sing very, I couldn't go there.
Do it again.
They do all of that, right?
Yeah.
And
You need a pastor to shout at you a little bit.
yeah,
You need somebody to yell at you.
say yes. Tell me to say yes.
Yes, got it.
Tell me to hit my neighbor in the eye. Yes, I need all of that.
Shake your neighbor like
That's
you gonna shake your arm off.
Yeah,
All of that. Yes.
rock him and shake him, shake
Yes,
him and rock
yes,
him. I need all of that. I need a little 1 2 1 2 1 2. Right?
Yes.
My auntie is a pastor.
She
for
also got
Lutheran.
73 degrees.
No, she has like 5 for real.
What's
She
with you
preached.
with all these women with all these
Right,
degrees? She
I
wear
need-
long skirts too.
No child. But she preached a sermon yesterday for 6 minutes.
Amen.
6. She said, I'm done. I said, girl, you just read the scripture. I'm like, what do you mean? But her church, baby, the white gays, the black gays, the old
Because they got to
ones.
brunch.
You hear me?
Because I can't
They
tell you how
gone.
good
But
it is when
I
I
think
get
the
to brunch.
Pentecostal church that was the point I was getting to.
So,
is that's where the
It
problem
feels as if you're saying in order to have a black experience, you have to deal with certain closed-minded views. Is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying.
And so how
Should
do
we? No. Do we? Yes.
Okay. And so now if we can circle all this back to we are here to observe World AIDS Day. The fact of the matter is the people are getting infected with HIV. They are learning their status. They are doing all the things. And a lot of people really do lean on the church in order to find a way through, to make sense of life when you've learned your status. So if we dealing with all of this, with all of these slavery mentalities and all of these, somebody is the boss and somebody is this, or someone's the villain and someone is this, then how do we actually deal with what's actually in front of us? Antoine?
So that was something that the institution that I served at, I felt we needed. And as little as a linkage to care department, a health and wellness department that could speak to all things, even outside of HIV, because a lot of times, of course, the church don't talk about sex, which we don't talk about HIV, we don't talk about STIs, we don't talk about cancer, we don't talk about, we don't talk about all of those things. So now there's a department where we can actually have those conversations, and we have health resources and after Sunday health fairs and all kind of things to make sure that people are gaining the knowledge if you want the knowledge.
And so for the two of y'all, because y'all actually lead churches, what I would ask is, now if we take, because Antoine's talking about one ministry at one place, how do we change a culture that says that we sweep all this bullshit under the rug, we do not deal with people, we do not deal with their actual life, but also still save lives in the process? Because that's what we're really trying to figure out, is how do we save lives?
You have to know that the Lord has inclined voices. This is going to sound real deep and spiritual, but it's the truth.
I got a button for that, just so you know.
Great. Press it.
Go ahead. Keep going. I'll press it if you go off the deep end.
Okay, thanks. You have to know that the Lord has formulated, put together people that are inclined to your voice. And those people that are inclined to your voice are going to hear your message. There are people that Antoine is going to minister to that I will never be able to see, contact, talk to. Right?
Because they'll talk about dick and ass.
Yes.
Or just about life.
Yeah, how about
Or
that?
they might come up high and drunk.
Right. So whatever the case is, there are people that are inclined to you. And we can't continue to make, the old adage is, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
We have to do one bite at a time. We would love to just throw everything and say, the whole black church need to be free.
Yep.
Well, hey, calm down. Come back. One bite at a time. One ministry at a time. One church at a time. That one then talks to somebody else, that talks to somebody else, that talks to somebody else at a time. We cannot think that we just about to talk and everybody just, oh, yes, being gay is okay. Wonderful. Not happening.
If I can also add, I think that it is
Of
really
course you can.
important for us to create community partnerships with other churches, other institutions that may be doing similar or not similar work, so that they can see that there's like a brighter side to the people.
Well, if we're not
The
going
gays.
to address obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes, do you really think HIV is going to get on the table?
Well, where the little thing at? What a
My
butt,
favorite thing the other day.
baby.
I'm just serious. Like, we don't
You just
really
kind of broke it
address.
open with that. Go ahead.
But we don't address health and wellness in the black church.
Yeah.
The church that I attend does not really do pork. But you go to some of these churches, the people are on 12, 13 pills, and you smell pork all over the place. They leave
They
with
got hog
9
maws and
plates.
collard greens.
They don't have there's no kind of activity.
You had a funeral and then you go downstairs and eat what they died
The
from.
funeral.
Down to the
And then they got
repast.
the repast.
Y'all eating what they
And
died
then you got
from.
the repast.
Or
They died
somebody
from high blood
has
pressure.
a stroke and we're going to pray for them. No. They need to exercise and eat different.
Yeah.
And so I think there are a lot of other health and wellness issues that we're not addressing that probably need to be addressed before some things.
Yeah. Because we want to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, they didn't want to talk about that. I remember a few years ago when pastors were,
Dropping dead and committing suicide.
unaliving themselves.
Thank you.
Woodson.
That was a nice way to say it.
Yes,
unaliving.
Unaliving.
I'm just trying to keep my show monetized.
It's not called the Unalive Hotline.
I'm just trying to keep my show monetized, get these AdSense dollars. Go ahead.
Well, as someone who works in public health, I would like to use the appropriate terminology. And I have never seen an unalive hotline.
We still gonna bleep it out. We gonna bleep that.
It's bloop.
We're gonna bleep.
Bloop.
I don't have that in there, but I'm gonna bleep it.
But, you had those years where you had people committing suicide. How about that? And nobody wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This pastor, very well known here, he's in Warner Robins, preached his first sermon.
Mm-hmm.
His first 8 o'clock service, told his wife, go home, blah, blah, blah. I got to go home right quick. Second service come.
He ain't nowhere to be found.
He nowhere to be found. He's still at home because he shot himself in the head after service. But we don't want to talk about that. So I'm with him. Like, you want to talk about HIV? Baby, let's talk about these crazy people that walk in our churches every week. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about bipolar. Let's talk about schizophrenia. Let's talk about depression. And your deliverance is in that pill bottle. You want to be free?
But I think that I do
take
think
this
that there
pill
is
every day.
But I do think that there is a connection between all these things. But when it comes to, like, in my gay life, I've been gay for a long goddamn time. I'm almost 40 years old.
My Lord.
And
free him, God.
In my
Well, they say
you got your degree, and you know every fucking thing.
But in my gay life, as much as I think that mental health is a definite issue, I know it. I'm in therapy now. But the gotcha is HIV has been a mainstay since the second I came out the closet. Since the first time I connected with another man in a way that felt normal to me. And so as much as I want to say that, we got to deal with depression and we got to deal with all these things, I think there is a connection between these things. But I know that HIV is the big fish in this pond of health and wellness as far as my gay life is concerned. Now, granted enough, some may feel differently, but HIV is the big fish, ain't it?
Well, as someone who's been living with HIV for 15 years,
thank you for sharing that.
I don't think that it's as big of a fit. I'll take that back. The challenge is because we live longer and there are medications and things, it has not become important to people anymore.
Yeah.
We can manage it. And so I did a workshop a few months ago, and I was just explaining, like, our advances are also detrimental to the process, right? Because people don't focus on it. I take a pill every day. I have for 15 years. I'm fine. I'm undetectable. I can't spread it. And that is what people hear. They don't still hear that this is an international epidemic that is still killing thousands of people, because that's not the story we need to tell, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want people to be afraid. But I think there's a way of looking at health and wellness in the church holistically where that's a part. I just was telling one of my staff that I was with earlier, the first time I had a conversation about HIV was when I was diagnosed. I had never discussed HIV with anyone in my entire life. And that's the challenge, right? It is hard for people to provide services for something they don't understand or know anything about.
Absolutely.
You can't help people if you are uneducated. And that's not just about HIV, that's about the Bible too, but we won't get on my soapbox about people's lack of education. But that's the issue. And sometimes in the Black community, the challenge is things we're afraid of or don't understand, we shy away from.
Okay. I think that's a perfect place to take it right. Y'all ready? All right. Carl Tur says, however, the Black church is still views HIV as a punishment from God, at least here in Oakland.
Oh. Well, you need to move, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Atlanta is open.
Yeah.
Well, LA is open too. I'm sure.
San Francisco, don't say Atlanta. We're not open. We're actually closed. But
full.
Houston can take him. Dallas can take him.
We need to take him in, y'all. Hear me evangelize.
Baby,
Come
he
on
can go to
down.
Phoenix.
Come on down to Atlanta.
All right.
The Lord called me to leadership and education.
Baby,
Okay, this is
Denver.
World AIDS Day Explained. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
We actually are not open.
We are open.
No. I live in Stockbridge.
What up, though? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hook up, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating.
A top verb, but I'm not a top noun.
I am a guru at first dates.
It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now.
What is stigma? I truly believe that it comes up when you think something can't happen to you. Like when we think we could never be femme, so we end up with femmephobia laced up and through our dating profiles. Or when we don't be out there like that, so we slut shame people for doing openly what we try to sneak and do privately. But there aren't too many spaces where stigma rises to a criminal level like it does with HIV.
Knowingly gave her HIV and never told her he was infected.
We're talking to 4 black men from across the country, all living with HIV. I want to see how stigma comes up in their lives and what we can all do to overcome it. We're live from the back room right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. I want to thank my guests tonight for having an amazing conversation. If you want to connect with Antoine or Dr. Woodson or from NASM or stream Marika's music, links to all of their socials are in the description.
Yeah.
In November, the HIV community lost a pillar. Cornelius Baker was a strategist, activist, and one of my mentors from afar. The cause of his passing is of no consequence, but I want to take this time to remember him. It was my first NASM conference in Brooklyn, New York, where Cornelius checked in to the hotel just before me. He could see that I was a fish out of water, so he took me under his wing and introduced me to the who's who and told me I was going to be somebody in the field one day. Now, 13 years later, I get to show him that he was right. So in Cornelius Baker's honor, the Dear Black Gay Men family, with the support of some of our most loyal viewers, would like to donate $1,000 to the necessary work NASM does.
Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. Where the thing at? Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yay.
Hold on, wait.
We get to give it to NASM.
Yay. Okay, here I go. Come on.
For those who don't know, Giving Tuesday is this Tuesday. So if you find a nonprofit in your area that you can give to, that has been our show. I will thank you for sticking with us, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.